If I had to buy Hogwarts Legacy now and I had to read the reviews, which one I would believe to? Those who gave it 9 and 10 or those who gave it 5? I mean, how good this game is? Well, luckily I played it, so I can share with you my opinion and, well, definitely not a 10, but also not a 5 as well. So the thing is that the game has many amazing things to offer, but it loses its magic pretty fast, I would say. Well, listen, if you play Elden Ring, nothing's gonna be the same, right? Not that I'm saying that Hogwarts Legacy should be a Souls game, or partially, although I wished, nor that I'm saying that it has to be the same difficulty. But when it comes to Elden Ring, you realize there are so many things we're gonna need to open the world design that made so well in this game. And in general, it just feels more magical in comparison. For example, all these markers on the screen, I don't like them. In Elden Ring, most of the time you didn't add that, and even then they added a few things for NPCs only later on in a patch. But most of the time you have the mystery. You have things that can be discovered or not even discovered in the first playthrough at all. If you are a completionist, you're gonna suffer from it, but in terms of open world game design, I think it's a better choice. I'm not saying you don't have a few markers for important NPCs, great if it's a big open world, you want to know where they are, but in Elden Ring it felt like a complete mystery. And here, in terms of the level design itself, it wasn't that exciting at all. There were a few dungeons where they're nice, but most of the time just little holes, caves that are not that interesting. And compared to Elden Ring, where you go into a certain place, you don't even know where you're gonna get out, and something that seems like so close, you realize that it's where you need to work so hard to get there, and nothing is as it seems. This is more of the traditional open world games, basically, and whether it doesn't matter which theme you put on it, eventually it gets stale and it gets boring. The good thing, however, in Hogwarts Legacy is that the world is so beautiful and so, I mean, you just take your broom and just flying around. I did it for hours and hours. I didn't even care at some point about any objectives. I was just flying around the map and having so much fun because it's just such a beautiful world and it just looks incredible. Really, the world looks incredible. But it lacks the depth and the complexity of the level design compared to, again, I'm saying Elden Ring because, again, I think the developers should be inspired by games like that. The other thing is related to RPG elements, very plain, not in depth. You don't find all this great stuff that you find on gear on other RPG games that have depth, that you can enjoy, really create really cool builds with them, that you want to fine tune it in order to beat a tough boss or something. It's very simplistic and not interesting. Not just that, the game is not difficult, very easy. Forget about finding really cool bosses here. Like I said, it's just one boss fight that I call a boss. Even that one is just like one tap and you can, almost one tap. Everything is so easy. Dark Arts is completely broken in the game. And even without Dark Arts, the game is just very easy. And again, as you progress, you're going to find out that just one tap, two taps, almost everything. Yeah, so no challenge, and even at the hardest, highest difficulty, really, the game is not challenging. Regarding performance, I won't extend too much, but it was bad. Bottom line, not optimized well, and many players suffer from that, even in playing on very good hardware. I mean, I don't remember being so unexcited just opening a chest and you just find another blue. Even the legendary ones, who cares? You're gonna find them anyway in a merchant when it refreshes, and you're gonna get, of course, the same level. You are really. I never was excited opening a chest in this game. Just when I wanted to just search for the last items, whoa, yeah, I actually need that one. I'm missing. But other than that, again, it's just not exciting opening chest. I mean, loot is really not interesting in this game at all, almost. But yeah, keep in mind that I'm talking from an Halo point of view and also from a very enthusiastic RPG gamer. So, I can understand some decisions if you want to make a game that, like family friendly, kind of one side kind of fits all. That's the way that you go with. It's a very safe way also to develop an open world game, not taking really any other chances. Yeah. But still, it doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy the game. I enjoyed it a lot, but definitely I can't ignore its shortcomings. And when it comes to endgame, well, what endgame? There's nothing unless you want to finish a few of the storylines and some side quests, and overall it becomes much stale because you got most of the thing in the game, and really there's not a lot of things to do. So many missed opportunities for co-op, for putting those mini games you can play with friends, some really cool mini games. I wish I could play them with others in multiplayer. There isn't any multiplayer in the game, and for rather rare there's no even plan to get a DLC, so let alone multiplayer. But again, this is the best thing you can have if you want to jump into the, in quotation, Harry Potter world and become part of it. You don't get better than that. So this is cool, and especially for those who want to, kind of a sandbox it with different modes and get crazy. For them, this is just, a wild dream. A wild dream that can become a reality now. But again, when you get to mid and especially end game, the game just becomes, you see actually what the game is. It feels like, it's like an undeveloped game with really nothing else to do. Just walk around, enjoy the world because you enjoy it so much. So we're just going to walk, you're going to fly, you're going to search one thing that you missed. By the way, this also falls in a trap that can actually annoy many completionists. Unless you want to play with a wiki and just mark everything you do. I don't play like that. I don't enjoy playing like that. I don't play a game to make it like homework. I want to enjoy and explore. But again, the thing is with an open world games like that, if you miss one thing, or two things, and you need to search for it, searching for these big open world games of course become a chore if you're going to find it at all. So of course, when it comes to that, I use wiki just to find the last piece or the second piece, because I'm not going to explore the entire map just searching for it like 30 hours if I'm going to find it at all. That's why I prefer the open-ended one, the one that, we don't really focus on those quests. It's not like the thing to do. You don't get like 100% you need to complete all missions. It's not there. You just go and have your adventure, and the adventure you have, it's yours. It's customized based on your decisions, and the game doesn't tell you, alright, you did 50%, there's no percentage. This is the world, go and explore. That's the way I love playing open world games. Well, this game is definitely not. It is exactly the opposite of that. I mean, you can go and explore wherever you want, but again, it's always tied to things you need to do in order to progress through the story, progress through the missions, and if you want to complete something, there are percentage shown to you, so you're kind of encouraged to do it, because again, you get rewarded for completing things in the game. But by the way, same goes to other games, but you don't actually feel that you are missing something, because again, everybody have their own run, and it's actually nice doing other playthroughs to discover them. In Elden Ring, I did like 4 playthroughs, something like that, from the beginning, by the way. After that, I played a New Game Plus. It encouraged me to do more, and of course, because of the open world game design that I mentioned, things that I mentioned here, it was much more fun and exciting to do. Whether in Hogwarts Legacy, there's no chance I'm going to do a second run. I mean, unless you want to go and choose another house, which is some customization, a customized robe or something, and some other maybe things, that regarding the storyline. But if that's enough for you to do a second run, by all means do it. But for me, it wasn't convincing enough to just go and do a second playthrough. And when it comes to other things like collecting the pets and the shinies, it's all really simple, not exciting, just to get a few things. There's no depth to it at all. Very, very simple, kind of felt like an afterthought. It's nice to have, but really just because it's so limited and there's no really exciting kind of more than things to it to discover and do, again, it becomes boring and really not exciting after some time, a short time. But you need to understand, I mean, that's the appeal. It will appeal for lots of casual players, and that's the open world game they prefer playing. They prefer something that tells them exactly what to do. There are many players that's why they prefer. They respect their time, and you know exactly what to do. If you get in, you know what's missing, you're going to go and focus on certain missions. Yeah, you need to understand, for many players, this is like the best way to do, rather than to give them an open world that they don't want to discover, and they maybe feel they're just wasting your time. Again, I'm talking from my point of view, but you need to understand, for another person's point of view, might be the ultimate way to actually play an open world game. And exactly, again, this is the way player might prefer playing, very casual game. Same, by the way, goes to myself. There are some types of games that I prefer playing casually, like a big fan of Diablo game, by the way, but when I play Minecraft Dungeons, I invested 3,000 hours into the game. I enjoyed it because it was casual for me, right? And another thing, I play Elden Ring, but I wanted something to jump into something casual, and I enjoyed it a lot. So again, it doesn't mean that I'm only favor these type of games. I like many different games. Some open world games, I do prefer them being more casual, but this one actually I wanted more. I wanted actually the opposite. I wanted to be complex. I want to be much more exciting to explore, not really that kind of close-ended, more open-ended when it comes to a quest. But again, I played Elden Ring, so things changed. And also, again, wanted the game to be more, harder, more difficult, and so I'll be able to challenge myself with different builds rather than just going and say, even if you just want a kind of a good time, you can just change the difficulty, lower to story, and that's about it. You don't even need to think about anything. It's just going to be so easy, right? It's just a tap in the settings, and that's about it. Now, there are also the annoyances, like you can use a reveler, which you use a lot while actually moving on the ground. You can do it while actually riding a beast or with your broom. When you're casting, you can actually incorporate, you can actually like move and cast, stand. Very little annoyances that ruin the fluidity of the combat, although the combat felt great. Those little things, why are you doing it? Why do you design it like that? Yeah, definitely annoying. And there's of course all those things that the game just feels like it's repeating itself. Those things are very similar. You have this merchant here, you have this Merlin trial here, which you can't even skip the animation, which is very annoying. You have balloons here, balloons there. It's kind of repeating itself with different regions there. So again, you're gonna feel that it's very similar in different regions. Very similar to many open world games that take the same concept and just copy it and just extend the world and just make some areas look different. But I have to tell you, the reason, again, as a Harry Potter fan, I just can't get out of this game because I really want to be inside it. I really want to be in. That's that the game, of course, fails me to give me more, to satisfy the end game. Doesn't mean that I'm not getting in. I'm getting in because, it's like in No Man's Sky when I just enjoy exploring planets, and I didn't really care about finding anything. I just go and just ride and have a nice view and just roam the world and having fun. Yeah, of course at some point I get bored and I move on to other games, but it's amazing how much time I actually invested doing it. As part of my entire playthrough, just roaming the world and enjoying it. It just shows you how beautiful the world is. And of course there's the fantasy side that this is kind of in the Harry Potter world, that you just feel connected, and finally you get the chance to actually explore Hogwarts yourself and be a character in that story. It's amazing by itself, and that's what still keeps me in the game. Now there are several characters, by the way, that I enjoy dialogue and the decision that I made.
Yes, finders keepers, I'm afraid.
I knew it! You're just as bad as everyone else. I hate this school. You'll all be sorry when I learn some more spells.
That one I'll probably remember for years to come. And regarding mini-games, by the way, mini-games are actually pretty cool. I wish there was co-op in the game, multiplayer, so I can actually challenge others. That would be amazing, and exploring these wizards together. So many missed opportunities to make this game like insane. So like when people mention Game of the Year, I don't see it. I don't see it because, again, it's just lacking all the good things that can make the game so much, perfect, if those are added into the game. But again, as you soon discover, when you play the game at some point, you become stale, and you see that the things that you wanted the game to be more exciting in terms of exploration, in terms of build, in terms of in-game content, in terms of co-op, multiplayer, none of that actually resides in the game. And personally, I don't even put multiplayer as a factor here, but replay value, more spells to discover for bit diversity, more challenging and rewarding combat, more in-depth RPG elements, more complex mech design, and so on. Even just adding more dynamic events, something that can happen that can surprise you, the surprising factor. I told you, missed opportunity, that's all. Basically, this type of open world game, they are designed to exhaust their entertainment value piece by piece until you get nothing. That's how it is. There's no like some dynamic events or something, that some open world games have. Things that, pop into the world, and maybe there's some weird things that can pop into the world, so you warm and expect something. This type of dynamic things really almost don't exist in the game, unfortunately. So the game exhausts its entertainment value pretty fast. The thing is, if you do expect like 20, 30, 40 hours of the game, great. By the way, when it comes to that, the game delivers, alright? But other than that, beyond, the credits, a bit more, every now and there going to be a few quests, but other than that, really there's not a lot the game can offer, and eventually it gets boring. Now, it might sound funny, but the thing is that unlike some games where you can, just finish the game and move on, fine. In this game, you want to stay inside. You want to continue be part of this amazing world. You don't want it to end. So it's disappointing. It's disappointing in this aspect because the game wants to give you more reasons to stay. A few things, last thing, by the way, combat, by the way, combat is fun. They nailed it with the combat. The visual effects are really nice. The music and the sound effects all really come as a cohesive, very, very good together. So it's really fun. The combat's very, very satisfying. I'm a really big fan of, by the way, first-person shooter, third-person shooters, and it's really kind of it ticks the right point and it feels very, very satisfying, especially with the cool visual effects and the sound effects. It's just the combat is made very, very well. I didn't know what to expect, by the way. I thought it's going to be stealth pretty fast, but it actually stayed like that. Even right now, I enjoy combat a lot. So again, if I kind of compact the experience and kind of balance the expectation that I have that what the game is, and including the enjoyment, of course, that I had, and I'm still playing the game, consider everything, I would give this game a 7. It's a good game that does many things right, but also many things, well, not the way that I personally would have preferred to be. As I told you, it's a mixed bag, and that's my score for this game, and that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this one. Consider leaving a like if you did. I see you on the next one with more cool content, so make sure to subscribe to my channel. See you on the next one. Cheers. Sell me his watch.
I don't think you realize the trouble I went to retrieving the watch. Perhaps you can sell it for the girl's supplies.
I should never have mentioned the heirloom. Such selfishness. Here is your money, you extortionist.